Yo, what's up, folks? I'm not gonna be here for long. Uh, it's just a few things I wanted to get off my chest. Just got back to the crib, you know. Uh, had lunch and all that shit. And yeah, it's I was talking with a few folks and it just reminded me of something and I said, yo, let me spin up a live real quick and just get it off my chest. So now I want to bring something to your attention. And what I do want to bring to your attention is, yo, what up, Bronzeberg? What up? You're oh snap. Hard time confessional. Man, this ain't no damn confessionals, man. But it's something that you know, maybe you have noticed as well, Bronzeberg. Now, you know, given that, I had a bit of momentum, like this thing was on my mind and stuff. So I took down a few notes while I was, out to lunch and all that. And anyway, this is what I want to bring to your attention, right? My dear black folks. Um, you know, when you talk about um uh black men or black people in general not being in certain spaces and stuff like that professionally now. Hey, peace, cynical. What's up? What's up? When you talk about black men or black women or whatever, you know, um, they don't do this and they don't do that and all that stuff. For some reason, I always have to wonder, like, don't we like completely overlook the few black people? And again, I'm mainly speaking about professionals, right? Black professionals or black people in different professional spaces, you know that are actually doing the very thing that we will say black folks are not doing, or they're not enough black folks doing, if that makes sense, you know because I mean, it's easy to point out the shit that niggas don't do, you know but then also it's very easy to sidestep those very niggas that are doing the shit that you say most niggas don't do. Now, I'm with you when you say a lot of black folks aren't in these spaces or whatever. But how many of the black people in those spaces do you actually acknowledge? You understand what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's so easy to point out, oh yeah, for example, what, like, if we talk about STEM and shit like that, you know, we say that it's not enough black people in STEM. I remember when Zero would say black people don't math, for example, you know what I'm saying? Niggas don't math. Not enough niggas math and all of that shit. But then it makes me wonder, like, what about niggas that do math? You know what I'm saying? How many niggas that math do you know? I know it's not enough for them, but it's still enough niggas that math, right? You know, it's always, how should I say, man? I'm trying to collect my thoughts here, man. I should have written more down, you know. It's like you I've said it again. I've said it before. It's easy to point out the flaws and all of that stuff. But then for some reason, I don't know if it's deliberate or it's out of ignorance, but the ones that do the work, they're never mentioned, or they just fly under the radar. And then sometimes I wonder, the motherfucker that be saying, oh yeah, you know, black people don't do this, how many black people in the fields that you want to see black people in do you actually network with? You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I also notice is that, you know, you see people that go to conferences and stuff like that, and they say stuff like, oh, you know, when I go to these conferences and this and that, whoop de woo, you know, I mostly see Asian folks, I see white folks, I see Indian folks, and this and that. I don't see enough black folks. So it makes me wonder, like, yo, for the nigga complaining or bothered over the fact there ain't enough black folks in these fields, do they find you in those conferences too? You know what I'm saying? Do you attend those conferences? Do you acknowledge the niggas that's doing the math so y'all can get together and network and maybe start something? I'm not saying start a company and be entrepreneur and all that shit, but are y'all organizing something? Because after a while, it just becomes a whole bunch of whining, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I do understand, you know, like it's hard to work with niggas and this and that. And even if you try to organize with niggas, you know, they really just trying to shine and stuff. And I really thought that they was about some, but they ain't about nothing. Yeah, absolutely. In that small pool, you will find people that are on some bullshit. But tell me, how many people that you work with, that you even work with right now, that are not on some bullshit, my nigga? Like, for real. You probably have people at work that you got to work on projects with that are on some BS, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I kind of think that, you know, a lot of the ones that go unacknowledged by y'all, you know, they may have their accolades in the little STEM fields that they're in. They may be doing their job right, huh? They do their job well, they get paid well and all that stuff. But they don't know about your ass because you too busy complaining about the motherfucker that ain't doing shit. You know what I'm saying? Totally overlooking the motherfuckers that are doing shit. Huh? What's up with that at the end of the day? You know? And most importantly, I'm just thinking about STEM field all the time because I guess that's like one of the areas that, you know, black people are least represented in and all of that stuff. And it's like, yo, my nigga, like, what are you doing to grow that out? You know what I'm saying? Because everything starts small, right? Like what organization are you a part of? And it's not that you even need to be part of an organization. Tell me who you who are you networking with, my nigga? Who are you networking with to move some shit forward? Or are you just sitting on your armchair just complaining about every goddamn thing, just like every goddamn body at the end of the day? You know? Shit is crazy, man. Like, for real. And you know, like, you see like how we say these different cities, like for example, where I'm at in Atlanta, you know, like you always once you hear Atlanta, you be like, oh my God. You know, because you think about the dating scene, think about all these fruit fruit niggas running around here and stuff, all these things that are synonymous with Atlanta. But at the same time, it's a shitload of black professionals in Atlanta. And they're not all on some bullshit as you may think. You understand what I'm saying? There is another side to this shit too, except for all the shit that you see on social media and on the internet and the stories you hear. Not every motherfucker running around Atlanta is a motherfucking YN. Okay? They're actually doctors here that actually do a good job, psychologists, you know, scientists, lawyers, you know. So do you ever talk about them? Do you have a network of these black professionals that ain't on some bullshit like the majority of them are? that you communicate with, network with, build something with, talk about something, strategize with? Anybody? Or you just caught up in that same loop just like every motherfucking body else at the end of the day? Because I ain't gonna lie, yo, what's up? What's up, Shaka? You know, because at the end of the day, man, like that, this shit just gets tired after a while, my nigga. It really does. It really does. You know, makes you think like, yo, dog, like, you know, don't you ever get tired of pointing out the fucking obvious, my nigga? Like for real, don't you get tired of that shit after a while? Huh? Matter of fact, everybody that's in here, everybody that's gonna listen to this, right? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You need to ask the person, if you always hear somebody complain about black folks this, black folks that, black folks don't do and they don't do and they don't do and they don't do, right? Ask them, who are you networking with? You know what I'm saying? Show me the group of niggas that you cool with, that you network with, or that you partners with, or whatever, that are on the same shit, that are on the same type of shit that you on. Huh? And let's see what they gonna have to say. You know? Cause if they don't, then you already know what it is, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? You know, niggas just talking just to talk, man. And they just spinning that same narrative loop year in and year out, year in and year out. You know? Do y'all remember one time in the manosphere, you know, 2020 and shit, 2019, 2020, 2021 and all that, you know, years ago, you know, at least 5-6 years ago, there was one thing that a lot of black men rightfully always used to say. And they would say shit like, you know, amongst all those phrases, you know, black men are not a monolith and all of that stuff. And they would complain about the fact that, you know, these black women, they only date Pookies and Ray Rays and stuff, and then they project it to all of us. But most black men aren't YNs, and most black men don't do this, and most black men don't do this crime, and they don't do this fuck shit, and it's only the small pool of niggas that they date, right? So it makes me think like, okay, so, and they were right in what they were saying. They were absolutely valid in what they were saying. But the same way you would say the black women will project these mannerisms of this small pool of Pookies and Ray Rays to all the other working and thinking black men out there. Don't you think that it works the same way in this case, where every time you say black people don't do this and don't do that and don't do this and don't do that, the ones that are doing this and are doing that, they completely go unacknowledged. It's like you don't even see them motherfuckers. And then you project onto them as well. So now it becomes, it goes from majority of black people don't to all black people don't. You know what I'm saying? And it really makes me wonder, man, because, you know, even though black folks are, I guess, the least represented in fields such as STEM and all that shit, it's still a lot of black people in STEM. You know, my question is, do you know who they are? And not that you have to know them by name and all that stuff, but do you know a few black people in STEM? Huh? That are in the technology, that are in engineering and stuff, that do have their own companies, that have like small companies that make like $1 million a year or $2 million a year and shit like that. Because they are there, right? Or is it that you just can't be bothered because it's a bigger problem? Huh? So it always makes me wonder, like, from what position are you arguing from? Are you talking just to talk or complaining just to complain? Or are you one of this small pool of black professionals that's actually trying to do something out here? You know? Or are you connected to those black professionals that are doing shit out here and you frustrated that it's not more? Like, what position are you coming from? Because anybody can point fingers, my nigga. Anybody can. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, anybody can. It's enough niggas out here in Atlanta that have their own doctors practices and all that stuff. And they don't do botched work. You know what I'm saying? It's enough black surgeons out here that don't get on TikTok and be dancing while the patient is laid out on the damn table. You know what I'm saying? So again, what's happening? Oh, go professor. What's good, man? You know? That, that's what I want to know, because after a while you just get sick of it, man. You know what I'm saying? You just get sick of that shit, man. And real talk, and I've been saying this before more often recently, man. After a while, motherfuckers just sound like they don't go outside. And I hate to say it like that. I really do. I really do. But I can't help but acknowledge that there still isn't outside. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody that's outside has online accounts on several platforms. Okay. So, yeah, absolutely. But after a while, man, with this internet shit, you just start to sound out of touch. You just start to sound completely out of touch. You know, like, for real. I hate to say it that way, but you do. You know what I'm saying? You start sounding like somebody that, how do I say, you in the basement, you keyboard warrior, and all that. You know? Like, for real, you do, man. I remember my boy one time, you know, I forgot what we were talking about, but something about billionaires in the 80s came up. And I was like, yo, my nigga, you don't know about Reginald Lewis? And he said, never heard of him. And I'm just like, nigga, excuse me? You don't know? I mean, I don't know about any other black billionaires in the 80s. You understand? Other than Reginald Lewis. And if there are more, then let me know. Because I like to educate myself, right? But given that it's just one, as far as I know, at least you should know that nigga, right? And I'm trying to remember who even said that. The one that said never heard of him. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, fact of the matter is that Reginald Lewis was a billionaire in the 80s, you know? And the fact that that dude never heard of him, was it again? Anyway, whatever. He said I never heard of him. I'm like, yo, my nigga, like, if you ain't never heard of that nigga, then that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? Then it means you can't just go around saying shit like, oh yeah, this don't exist and that don't exist. But then you have no examples of a motherfucker that actually was doing that shit. That's exactly what I mean. You know, you just have this large blanket, you just blanket all this shit because for the most part, the 60, 70, 80%, you're right. But then who are you not acknowledging? And the fact that the nigga did not know who Reginald Lewis was, I remember at that moment, I was like, wow, like this nigga don't know who Reginald Lewis was, man. You know? And it was just, I was just like, God damn, my nigga. Like, at least that's something that you should know. If you're gonna talk about it, right? You know? And I don't know, man. I'm not gonna say it rubbed me the wrong way, but it did kind of like I was a little surprised about that, you know. But anyway, you know, my main point here is really that listen, man, you know, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with talking about a problem that you see in the black community and all that shit. But it does, you know, bring up the question like, you know, what where are you arguing from? You know what I'm saying? Are you arguing from a position of ignorance, which I doubt, you know? Or is it that you just don't give a fuck? You know what I'm saying? But you just want to say what everybody else says about niggas for real. And don't get me wrong, this is not to be like, oh yeah, my black people and all. I'm not on that. That's not what I'm saying. You know, because there's a lot of niggas on some bullshit, definitely. You know, definitely these niggas on bullshit. Like we already know that. We already know that. You see, we already know that. You know? But the devil is in the details, my nigga. You know? You can't just sidestep all the nuances, you know? And if it's not enough examples of people that's doing shit, well then how do we work to grow that number? You know what I'm saying? Because I could tell you for shit sure that ain't nothing gonna happen with you just yapping off the mouth about what niggas is not doing. Because everybody already knows it. Hell, we have people from other groups telling us about what niggas is not doing and talking about black fatigue. You know what I'm saying? We know what black fatigue is because every nigga has black fatigue. You know? But yeah, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You niggas have gotten too comfortable talking about what niggas ain't doing. You know? And you completely ignore the niggas that's actually. And you know the reason why the ones that are doing shit are such a small number is probably because niggas like you fucking complainers don't join them or don't network with them or don't ask like, yo, what can I do to help you out? You know, what can we do? What can we do? You know what I'm saying? And grow that shit out. What awareness can I bring to this? And don't get me wrong, you will still come across a lot of bullshitters, of course. You know what I'm saying? But let's be honest, man. Every freaking Tom, Dick, and Harry out there is a fucking bullshitter to some extent. Just depends on how much bullshit you're willing to take. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, yo, quit your yapping, nigga. Like real talk, man. I'm getting tired. I'm sick and tired of. I'm getting sick and tired of you niggas always just wanting to point out the obvious and never really wanted to investigate a little further. You understand me? Because anybody can do what you do for real. Anybody can do what you do. It's not hard. You know what I'm saying? You could just go on YouTube, find a video. You can go on Claude. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like I wish I remember who the fuck that was, my nigga. But even the nigga that said he never heard of Reginald Lewis, I was even thinking to myself, yo, in the age of fucking AI and shit, you know what I'm saying? You didn't you never even found it necessary to be like, yo, were they actually black billionaires in the 80s or something like that? That shit would have spit out Reginald in a heartbeat, nigga. Like for real. It would have. You know? So anyway, yeah, that's that, man. And you know, like we got new in the chat, for example. That's a black electrician right there, you know? And I know some of you niggas don't think much of blue collar, which is dumb as hell as well, you know. But you see how old was the person I was talking to? He might have been my age, actually. Yeah, I think he was my age, you know. Didn't know who Reginald Lewis was, my nigga. Like, I was fucking surprised as hell. Say he never heard of Reginald Lewis. I'm like, yo, nigga, you need to be slapped for that shit, my nigga. Like for real, you know? I think it's more than one. Yo, bro, I'm blanking. I'm blanking hard as fuck, my nigga. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think it's more than one person that said they know who Reginald Lewis was. Now, I'm not saying you need to know who it was, but you need to know who he was. But as a black person, given that we're already 13% of the population, you know, like, come on, my nigga. You got to do better than that. You feel me? Like, you really got to do better than that, you know? But yeah, new man, that shit just be rubbing me the wrong way, my G. You know, it's like I never hear of the examples of niggas that's actually doing shit, motherfuckers. Especially when it comes to this STEM field and stuff, like your actual black science. It's a lot of black scientists in America, my G. You know, a lot of black engineers, a lot of black mathematicians. You know what I'm saying? So to always cast this wide blanket, I do understand it because I do the same thing. I do it too. So this is not just oh yeah, you niggas don't. You know what I'm saying? I think about myself. I put myself in the mix as well of people that, you know, just sidestep and do not acknowledge the few. And unfortunately, it is very few, you know, professionals that actually know their shit. You know what I'm saying? But then you think to yourself, if if they go unacknowledged and they know they are, you know, how is it going to motivate any of them to want to do anything? You know what I'm saying? Because they may be hitting the same roadblocks that we do or we think we do. You know, it just I don't know, man. After a while, it just sickens you, man. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Now I hear you. You can't be charged with things you don't know, but that's what I'm saying, though. It's like after a while, my nigga, it's like, how long are you gonna spin that same narrative, man? Like at least do a quick, not even Google search, do a Gemini search, do a Chat GPT search. You feel me? Wait, hold on. You do realize that part of what you said earlier comes from the flowery language conversation. Yo, dog, I low-key forgot the flowery conversation and shit. Yo, Yo, Nu, if you got time and shit, come up. Let me put the link in the back chat. Go, Professor. You can come up too. With that flowery sounding shit. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Oh my wait. Oh my God. You've been rejected. Your YouTube rejected a comment. This is fairly common when sharing a link. Bro, what the fuck, bro? Hold on. How do I put this in? You know what? I know what to do. It's crazy. How come I cannot put my own link in YouTube? Why can't I do that? Hold on a second, man. Okay, I think I just put the link in the chat. Nu, you want to come up? You know, and keep in mind, man, this just some shit I thought about. And instead of doing a video and all that stuff, I just said let me just put up a live stream and talk about it. Or let me know if I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, like I don't know, you know, it's something that bothers me at times. It's like, bro, like what the fuck, you know? Wait, no, can y'all see the link in the in the chat? Let me put it again. Let me spam it. No, do you see the link in the chat? You don't? Damn. Man, you know I'll be on this freaking StreamYard things every once in a while and stuff, so I'll be weak. You say it's not there. What? Hold on. How come I can't put my own link in the damn chat, yo? That's crazy. Hold on. I think I need DJ Kuda. Kuda, please help me. See, you need to start a channel. You know, I showed all these niggas how to do live streams. Well, you just hit live. Oh man, I fucking put her. How do I do this shit for real now? How fucking StreamYards? God damn. I can't put my own link. Wait. Really, dog? This shit wild, man. Hold on. My bad, man. It's some ghetto ass shit, but maybe I put it on my banner. Yes, Nu. You're right. I could just text you the link. I'm gonna text you the link, and maybe you can put it in the chat. the hell up. Hold on. Maybe you can put it. Nigga, shut up. Hold on. Yeah, it's true. This shit really ain't here. This is wild. Yeah, let me. I'm gonna text you the link right now. No, shit is crazy, my nig. Yeah, man, niggas in tech, right? Ain't it funny how I'm talking about STEM and all that shit? Oh no. God damn, Smooth. Huh? See, this be the problem right here. Ain't enough niggas. It ain't enough niggas. Ah, damn. I knew I texted you the link. Wait, no, you're damn, how am I blanking on shit right now? Yo, what the fuck is wrong with me? You're how do you say? Not a host. The people that have the blue names in the chat, man. You're yeah, you got a wrench. You got a wrench. So you could put links in the chat, right? Oh, you know what? Actually, let me try something here. This might be the problem. You see, niggas always figure it out at the end of the day. I think hold on. Let me see now. Can y'all see the link now in the chat? Moderator. Thank you. Moderator. Oh, here he is. What's up? Black Jesus. I got Black Jesus over here. Oh, he left. He has left us. Go, Professor. Do you see the? Oh, there you go. Appreciate you, no. Yeah. Well, my moderators in the chat. What happened, no? Did the thing not work? I did hear an echo when I was talking. I'll get your text straight, no? Huh? We all need Kuda, yo. Kuda, where you at, man? Where you at, Kuda? I need help. I need help. Let's put out the rice bowl signal. And he will appear. Add to the stage. What's up? What's up, no? Can you hear me? Oh, hold on. This is why. I do have an echo, don't I? I may have fixed it now. Yeah, I should have gotten my text straight, my nigga. Like, I'm over here tripping, man. But yeah, I wasn't gonna, do this for too long. I just actually came on here to just hello? No, say something. Okay, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
this nigga
this
shit.
nigga shit.
No, what the
No, what
hell's wrong with your shit, man?
shit, man?
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
I'm after
I'm after
you. See? That way I won't have no echo. Damn, no. You need to
you need
get
to
your
get
shit
your
straight,
shit,
man.
man.
What's wrong with
What's
your
wrong with
mic?
your mic?
I
I
told you, man.
told
You
you,
need
man. You need
Kuda.
Kuda.
Kuda, 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 Kuda. Yeah,
Yeah,
this shit
this shit
tripping.
trip.
Ha! And gone. He gone. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I had to say, where it's like, you got to, if you are passionate about niggas doing shit and being in the field, you know the terrain, you know what is lacking. It is important for you to, I guess, do your part. Got to do your part. Because, see, if you don't do your part, what, you just want to talk about what niggas don't got, what niggas don't do all the time. Like, after a while, that shit gets tired. If you know you're not going to get into the game, player, and you just want to be a sideline nigga all your life, then stick to the sideline. You know what I'm saying? And shut the fuck up. I mean, yes, everybody is entitled to their opinion, and I never believed that, you know, your opinion doesn't contribute. Everybody has something important to say. You could hear some fly shit from anybody, but at some point, you say something.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yo, StreamYard sucks.
I know, right? StreamYard. But you never use StreamYards, do you?
I've never used it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, man.
I refuse to use it.
You said who used it?
I refuse to use it.
Oh, why do you refuse to use it?
Refuse. Because everybody else uses it.
Oh,
You know I'm new. I can't do everything
yeah, yeah.
everybody
You
else
can't do
does.
this. You can't
I'm
do the shit
God, man.
everybody do.
Can't do.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Nah, so who was you talking to about who didn't know Reginald?
This was a while back, right? And this was somebody. He must have been my age. I think it was one of these. I went one of these parties that I was at. You know what I'm saying? Not like house parties, but like family gathering type shit. And one of my family members' boyfriend, you know, he was ADOS, FBA. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And he was one of them. Uh, you know, he was talking a lot of that. I wish black people could. I wish black people could.
Hmm.
I was like, yo, my nigga, like it's true.
Hmm.
You're right, but at the end of the day, that should just be washed, man.
Hmm.
How many times, yo, chill out, yo, chill out with your.
Hmm. Uh,
Yeah, you know, he was on there. I wish black people could. I wish black people could. And I think the second person might have been Zero. I think, yeah, I think Zero didn't know who he was, but I didn't think too much of that. But that nigga that day that was on some I wish black people could, I wish black people could, and all that stuff. And I'm like, yo, my nigga, like, and he was saying that, we've been going through this and that and that. And also this whole you know, uh black wealthy people from back in the day and shit, we were talking about a whole bunch of black stuff.
mhm.
And so I was asking, I'm like, what? There were no black billionaires in the 80s, my nigga. What? Don't you know about Reginald Lewis? And he said, and he's like, who's that? I'm like, yo, my nigga, are you serious right now? All these blackity black stuff that you know, and you don't know who Reginald Lewis was? You see, that be the problem right there, yo. You know? So yeah, it was that. That shit kind of ticked me off that night. You know what I'm saying? I think also, a nigga already has some liquor in him and shit, you feel me? But yeah, you know, it's incumbent of you to know that man. You know. But yeah, know what you want to say? What do you have to contribute to this? Okay, Nu is in here twice.
I got a phone call. That's why.
Okay, okay, okay. No problem.
So you could take out the avatar that ain't talking.
Okay. And studio. Yes. All right. Done.
Fucking weird, man. StreamYard just it disrupts the audio when you get a phone call. Just like kicks you out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while since I used it.
And
But yeah,
then
you were saying something about
oh
can't charge people for what they don't know, which is true.
well, yeah. I mean, like I remember finding out about who he was because of a movie. Um,
Mm.
but
What movie was that?
man, I think it wasn't Mo Money. It was a movie with David Allen, not David, Tommy Davidson,
Hmm.
Halle Berry, and this other cat. Um,
Oh, I know the movie you're talking
you know
about.
what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Got the
yeah,
name
yeah.
of it.
I'm blanking on the name, like I'm blanking on damn near everything
Yeah,
else today. But yeah, I know the movie you're talking
yeah.
about.
Remember they was talking about Harlem National Bank and the Hollering Brothers. So I was like, are these guys real? They were real. They were real dudes, who own. And that's when I started looking up like black banks in America, the amount of black banks, and
Hmm.
like millionaires and billionaires in America. And I remember that name,
Yeah,
from um, the '90s or whatever.
yeah.
But some
It was-
people are,
mhm.
inquisitive to where they're gonna do their research, and some people aren't.
Yeah, that is true.
So I mean, you put him on, you know.
Yeah.
But what I said in the chat was some of what you said earlier goes back to what we were talking about when it came to flowery language. Not the
Uh,
language itself, but it was what have these people done for black people? And we were talking about 5%, Nuwapians and all that shit, right?
oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself that because you did the same shit.
Wait, how did I do the same shit?
Well, when you said the dude was saying, I wish this, I wish that, right? And
Mhm.
then this is what you were doing when I first came up on the panel, and then Go Professor came up on the panel.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, well, you're asking what these people are doing, who they're networking with, but then you have to ask yourself, what are you doing, and then who are you networking with? That's all I was saying.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I remember where I was like, what is there anything of significance that like the 5% and have done? Like I'm paraphrasing, but it was along those lines, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's all I was getting at. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, we see still, with the 5% thing, it's like it was like, you know, everything the 5% have done, I guess, is known by only 5%, right? So it's
But where
like
do you but where do you get that from? How would you
at
even know
least
that?
that's my assumption that 5%, the works of the 5%ers are known to only the 5%ers. That would be my assumption.
Right. And then how do you spell assumption?
What?
How do you spell assumption?
How do you spell assumption? What?
Yeah.
Wait, what
What's the
does that?
first two
What does the
letters?
spelling have to do with
What's the first two letters of assumption? Yeah, that's it.
ASSUMPTION?
What's the first three letters of assumption?
ASSU?
The first three letters.
Oh, the first three S.
Yeah.
Okay.
You make an ass out of yourself when you assume.
Oh, it does. It just makes an ass out of you and me.
Now,
Right.
some assumptions are good, but see, the thing is, you don't know enough people who know about the 5% to see what the worst that they have done.
Hmm.
You're not even from that area, you know. So it's like, how would you know?
Well, educate me. What what notable things have 5%ers done?
They have done things for people in their communities, what they talk about doing and educating younger black boys. Like, I don't know if I remember telling you that, some of these younger cats, man, they grew up and they don't know how to read a clock with the hands and, big
Hmm.
hand, small hand, second hand, all that shit, or yeah, second hand, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
And it was mainly due to the 5%, how younger cats know how to read that clock right now. It's because of them that they know about, diet and food. It's because of them that they know about just asking questions and not taking shit on face value. It may not be, you know, political and shit like that, but that's a step, what I'm saying, towards knowledge and shit. Just knowing things in general, you know. Asking questions is very big. So um that's what they've done. Now, what those people do with it, I can't say, whatever. I don't know them as far as what they did, but I do know that for shit sure.
Mm. So you said you taught niggas how to read a clock,
Yeah. Some cats didn't know how to read until they started getting to the 5%. And I tell you that.
right? So, like you said, it's a step, right?
Yeah.
So I do remember during that whole back and forth that we had on that stream with the flowery language and stuff. I think I was talking about like what have they like what have they done politically or like on a major scale to like gain power amongst black people, right? I really don't want this to be like a whole
I
type
don't
story
either.
or whatever, but
I
it's
didn't that wasn't it wasn't my intent. It's just that I remember what was being said back then when you said what you said.
yeah,
You know what I mean? I mean, we could have easily called each other and had this conversation, but it wasn't my intent to, rehash that. But it was a part that you said. And I figured, this kind of sounds like the conversation that we was having before.
yeah. Now I remember, and yeah, I mean I'm aware of the works. Well, not really that aware, but some good things that the 5% Nation does in terms of educating and stuff with the numbers and the words and all that stuff. But yeah, I think my thing was, yeah, but what does that lead to? You understand me? Like, it's like you just said, the step. It's a step. Understanding the self and I supreme and all that stuff. But you know, on this earth right now, you know, like for example, I can't go to say, I don't know, China or whatever, or Australia, wherever in the world, and be like, and they'll be like, oh yeah, he's from the 5% Nation, and they'd be like, oh wow, oh, 5% Nation, yeah, we've heard of your works, the things that you've done in America, or the things that you've done over here, and all of that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's still a small group, then a small group, then a small group. And it's like, I mean, okay, you've done a lot.
But you actually can. There's guys over in Japan right now, Argentina, Venezuela, Japan. I'm not sure about China or like
Mhm.
Australia particularly, but you actually can. Like there's guys over everywhere right now, man. But what I'm just saying is that you know, you gotta crawl before you can walk. So, as far as the power things go, it's gonna teach you to also stay out of stuff if you can. It's a like everything is up to you. So, like why go into something that you know is corrupt? You remember how the joke about let's say like Black Panthers. I don't know if you're old enough to remember like there are some type of jokes,
Mhm.
right? How they're gonna go to these federal buildings and take over or try to like infiltrate from the inside out. And they said, "Oh, well, niggas just came out with jobs."
Yeah,
Like that was a joke, right?
right.
But like, why would these people want to go into a part of bullshit and technology, when they just know it's corrupt?
Tell me what is
But
not corrupt in this world. I mean, tell me anything that is worth anything where you're not going to have to deal with corruption or where you're not going to have to deal with disagreeableness, if that's even a word.
I'm not saying that there isn't.
So, and you said you got to crawl before you walk. So, how long are you gonna crawl for? Because in that case, it means 5% has been crawling for a while. Like, when does the walk start? And when the walk does start, you're gonna have to deal with some form of corruption.
Okay, but part of the walking is knowing where not to go.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. I mean, you could say all that shit though, dog, and that is a part of life. But part of knowing, something about something is not going there in the first place. Like you don't have to. Like you could choose to stay out of certain things, man. And
That's
that
true.
doesn't have anything. That doesn't have anything to do with 5%. That's just people in general, dog. You know how they always make up these fucking memes and these sayings, right? These cliches. Well, if you knew better, you do better.
Mm-hmm.
People know better about certain things, dog. And do they do better? No. It's always going to be up to that person. I mean, you can't blame the entire group. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't. I mean, you can to a certain degree. If that's all you fucking know, with certain people, if that's what you choose to do, I can't stop you from doing it, right? Because I always say all anyway. But um part of walking, man, is that understanding of where I'm not gonna go over here. I'm not gonna go over there because I don't want to get in no trouble. I'm not even there to start trouble, but I know trouble is always there. That's a part of walking.
Mm.
You're looking for something different, and I don't know. You're looking at something different for whatever reason, and that part right there will is just go is it's just dogs chasing their tails to me.
Mm. So then, I guess my question would be: so then, what's all the okay? What do 5% see as So what does God mean to y'all? Like, is it God in the same way the English language would define God, like a supreme being that, I don't know, rules over earth, or is the ruler of certain elements or spirits or whatever the case may be? Like what does it break down to? Because maybe I'm maybe misunderstanding and thinking that, okay, if y'all calling yourselves supreme mathematicians and gods and this and that, I'm comparing it to what I know the word mathematician is and what I know the word God is. But then maybe for the 5%, it's just a totally different thing. Maybe a God is just a regular person that's just, working a regular job and doing the regular, or whatever. Maybe you don't mean God as an a higher being and all of that stuff. I would have to ask, like, what does God mean to y'all? Because if it's God in the way that we've learned God to be, the definition and all that, then I would have to ask, like, okay, it's good to avoid certain things, but a God has power, right? So by you avoiding, like you said, the corruption or knowing where not to go to, okay, how are you going to amass power as a God unless you don't mean God in the same way the rest of the world uh, sees God? You know what I'm saying? But I guess that's just the best word that you can find to describe whatever, you know, a 5% God is. So you just call it God. Does that make
It's
sense?
all it's yeah, but it's already there. It's 5% of the world, right? And God is good orderly direction, right? So when we talk about, see, you're talking about God and power as far as the spook. the spook god in the Bible. Like he does this, he does that, he does all this shit, right?
Not
So,
only, not only. I mean, God it could
well,
be
and then it's not
Krishna, it could
about,
be God in any pantheon you could think of.
well, most people know God as far as this fucking sky genie,
Right.
right? They pray for it, they pray to him, they do all these things. You know, they live out life for death, basically, where we live out life for life because we're already here, right? The power is just in what you do for yourself and other people. Like, are you striving to live righteous? You know what I'm saying? Striving for perfection. Like the God that most people know, you know, hey man, well, if you God, give me $1 million type shit. Nah, it's not about that though, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like your family, and your friends and who, you know, you have around you, you know what I'm saying, will determine, you know, a lot of things in life. Maybe by how people look at you, you know, how you look at yourself when you look in the mirror. You know, it's not that hard. It's not complicated. People just make it complicated because they only know God through, you know, the Bible. So, you know, and there is no mathematicians. It's not arithmetic. It's not school math. So there's a difference in that as well. But, you know, because somebody's saying God, you know, this is why I say that when people hear that word God, they automatically go to, you know, well, you can't walk on water. You can't give me $1 million. Well, your God can't either. He ain't giving you shit.
Right.
So, like, you know, I get tired of hearing that shit too. You know, that's why I stay out of those conversations. That is a part of power. It don't have to be, you know, and I deal with power every day. So who can tell me about power?
Hmm.
It's not a complicated thing, man, but people make it complicated. You know what I'm saying? You remember the acronym KISS, right?
No.
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. So, bec- I guess what I also want to say to that is, if you have all these gods, well, let me not say God. Let me just say, if you have all these 5%, like you said, you're teaching boys how to read the clock and all of that stuff, and this, that, and the third. To what end are you doing that? And the thing is, if it's, I mean, if you are impacting your community and you're influencing your community and all that stuff, that you can't help that whole thing from growing, right? So it'd be more people. Okay, like say for example, you taught a young man how to read or how to read the clock and all of that stuff, right? And then he takes that and does and learns other things, because they were inspired by people like you or people like Go Professor and all of that stuff, right? Like where does it go? Like you influence them to do useful things, productive things, and all that stuff. So in the natural progression of things, that in itself would have to grow and become more powerful. Like like how they say strength in numbers and all that stuff, right? So it's like your positive impact on all these uh young men, women, and stuff, it's going to spread outwards. Like it at some point it's going to become something that you can't deny because y'all doing all these positive things in your communities and stuff like that. All of y'all are gods and stuff, and you know about the higher self, and you're mathematicians or supreme mathematicians and stuff. So you would expect that at some point, you know, it's going to be a few of y'all's offspring, and I mean like offspring as in it has to be your children, but the people that you educate or that you pour knowledge into, that will go ahead and do great things and stuff to the point where the world will have to acknowledge who the 5 percenters are because they're doing such good work, you know? So my point is that that kind of influence is inevitable, you know? And I guess that's why I was always asking, so like what have the 5 percenters done? Like beyond, teaching everybody that you God and this means that and I means seven and G means five or whatever the case may be. Like what impact is it having on the world for it? But then
Well,
it goes to
once
all
again,
involved in that.
but once again, Smooth, once again, you're assuming that everybody is gonna try to follow the same thing, and they don't.
What same thing?
Okay, so you have an influence over a person, right? Or persons, plural, right? If I taught 10 motherfuckers about God and Christianity and religion,
Mm-hmm.
some people go for that, some people don't. I could say, yo, man, this is God right here. Without him, you are nothing. You know what I'm saying? Without him, you are nothing. But if you pray to him, he gonna give you all this stuff, right? So it's up to that individual to pursue that in which he knows that he's just been taught. If he doesn't do that, if he or she doesn't do that, then that don't mean shit to me. That just that you know that just means something to that individual. But if it can help people, you know what I'm saying, for their positivity, then I've done my job to a certain T, and
Mm-hmm.
they have to continue to do that job. You see what I'm saying? And if
Mm-hmm.
they got seeds and they got friends around them, then they're gonna do that job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
Not everybody,
grows.
not it is gonna grow, right? But not everybody is gonna. Some people don't continue with that shit for whatever reasons, man. Because life be lifing, right? Some people don't continue that shit, and I can't. I can question it. But like, yo, you was on this path, and then all of a sudden you became religious. This, and that, and third. Yo, man, look, whatever you do, Smooth, I can't stop you, man. You know what I'm saying? I was there for a reason. You came to me for a reason, or you found this for a reason, and that is what it is, and it was what it was. So the growth is just gonna be, people who you surround yourself with. You know what I'm saying? Some people can see the positivity of that, man, and not want to be like, yo, I want to be a 5%. You know what I'm saying? It's just like how some people say, you know, I don't believe in God, but I'm spiritual. I mean, you're still trying to go down a so-called righteous path. If somebody says, I don't believe in God, but I'm spiritual. You know what I mean? So, how come everybody isn't Christian? If it's, what I'm saying, how come everybody isn't this? Everybody has their own thing going, man, and people choose what groups they want to be in. If not, they choose what group they don't want to be in, and that's a group in itself. So, I can't look at, everybody and you know what? There is an influence, I'm not gonna say the world, but I will say at least in America, how come how come this group has been on the FBI watch list since the 60s? They're being watched because of certain things, man. And, you know,
Are the 5% still being watched?
yeah, bro, it's easy as fuck, man, for people to be religious, man, because all they have to do is follow a certain order, and you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't do. Look, most of them motherfuckers, dog, are doing shit because they are watched. The biggest part of you, and how people will perceive you, dog, is, you know, when you're doing something positive without being watched. But I mean, like, look, I can't speak for every 5% either. You know, if I was Christian, I couldn't speak for every Christian. I could just tell you, yo, man, these are some of the things that we do as Christians, as Hindu, as Buddhists, as 5%. But I can't be like, yo, man, everybody who does this is always gonna be there because I've seen people fall off for whatever reason it is. So, like I'm not here to judge you. You gonna disqualify or qualify yourself. And that's all we ever fucking say. There's no exile. There's no yo, I'm not talking to you no more. There's none of that shit.
Mm. So, do
And
you
you
think that being watched by the FBI somehow hinders the greater influence that you could have?
say hinders.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about, hindrance and all that shit, but there is something to be said. Like, was the FBI watching the Black Panthers?
Yeah, I mean, in the 60s, the FBI was watching a lot of black groups and stuff.
Right. When they watching NOI and all that shit like that, what was the Black Panthers mainly doing? Giving out food to kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why would somebody who sees this shit really want to go in there and try to infiltrate that shit? Because it goes far beyond history, dog. You know that shit ain't gonna change, right? I'm not gonna sit here and watch, you know, two jackasses arguing and then try to figure out which one is the jackass. Because I'm the jackass. That doesn't make sense to me. But like I said, they are around. So wherever they don't have to announce that I'm 5% either.
Mm. But these groups were also being watched because you see those little things that they were doing in the community, it spread and it got bigger and stuff to the point where it got national attention, right? So of course the government is going to be like, hey man, these folks, they're getting a little too much power, they're getting too much power, they're getting too much influence and stuff. We're going to have to try to stop that before they influence even more people or even more black people, and then the next thing we're going to have some kind of uprising. And my thing is, with the 5%ers, has there been anything like that?
I mean, I would probably say yeah. I mean, for the simple fact that they're on a watch list, though, dog. As this anti-white group, black supremacists and all that type of shit. That's influence right there. That's power. That is power. Whether you see it as that or not, it's still power.
Yeah.
But just because they're not an influence over the world and all this dog, but like bigger religions and shit, like religions and all that shit like that. Nah, it's never gonna be that. But there is influence over the world because there are 5% in different parts of the country, and it is being televised in so many ways. It's just
Oh
that
yeah. No.
well, because first of all, you have Allah School of Mecca, right? That channel from F Mega, and I seen families, dog, and they little kids, man, come down to the school from Venezuela, Argentina. There's a cat in the Philippines right now. Canadians, like they are all over. You know what I'm saying? Certain people may not be able to reach, you know what I'm saying, all parts of the world, but parts of the world is okay too.
So do y'all have like institutions out, like in parts of those countries? I mean, I get it if you can't have it in America, but like, is like the influence like bigger outside of America, like to the point where you have like a school of Mecca or something in the Philippines or in Venezuela or something like that?
I mean, I'm not sure about that, but if you tried, and you could do it, they could probably open up a school. But once again, like they can't name it a school either. They can't say it's a school. That's why when it says Allah School of Mecca, that's originally what it was. But really, it's a youth center.
It's a youth center.
It's a youth center.
Mm. Now I would have just thought that, at some point, for as long as the 5% have been around, it's not too much crawling anymore because it's been so many people that have come from this school of thought that, you know, you would have a lot of you would have more, how should I say, influential people like, politicians. I know you got
Nah, they're
actors,
not gonna do that.
entertainment,
But see, okay, but you see what I'm saying, oh, bro?
but like, you
You
know,
you you keep you go there. Why would they actually acknowledge 5%? You can't make no money off of them. 5% ain't selling nothing. You're not gonna make any. You go
it don't
people
have to
go.
be about them selling anything. It's just that, out, like, for example, like, oh, you, like, say you have whatever, this senator or this businessman outside in Venezuela or Philippines, for example, right?
Mm,
That's going to say that, oh yeah, I was raised a 5%er, and I took those teachings and that supreme knowledge and supreme wisdom and supreme mathematics, and you know, I built this business empire, and and then that is influencing others to be like, oh wow, I want to be a 5%er too, and then it grows that way and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, how come
but that
there haven't been any example? Not saying that that's what it has to be, but why haven't we seen examples of?
I don't. So you're saying that it had, but that's exactly what you're asking. You're asking why isn't it bigger than it is? Okay, watch this.
Yeah, for as
Watch
long
it.
as it's been around.
It's only been around 62 years, though.
62 years is enough time
That's
to be
that's
walking
not
at this
an
point instead of crawling.
60 dog. In the 60s, all the shit was happening. Bro, all right. How come there's not a bigger third party in America other than fucking Democrat or Republican?
Oh, because that shit is being suppressed. All the money gets funneled through them two parties, and they have enough power to suppress whatever third party is trying to emerge out of wherever they are.
There's
There's
only two
enough
parties, right?
influential there's enough influential people in their fields that can make sure that a third party doesn't gain as much traction as the two main parties.
Okay. So do you know when people are, let's just say religious, right?
Mhm.
And they say you know it's hard for people to come out and just say like, well, I'm an atheist now, like I don't believe in God, and they get shit for it, right? You know how hard it is, man, to even as a black man to say you got, some people can't even see that shit. But what I'm saying is like, but why would, you know a lot of people look at that because they're scared, right, to even say that. You can say, oh, black people were kings and queens, all that bullshit, right? But when I say, yo, I'm God, what? They go back to the Bible shit, right? It's the same reason that there's no, like, that a third party isn't really recognized here. You know what I'm saying? Like 60 years isn't a long time, dog. It's really not a long time. And there have been people, but of course, you're not going to be able to see it like, you think it should.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it should. You there? No, you went out. You went out. Go Professor, you said would I prefer you call me nigga or God? Quite frankly, at some point it doesn't really matter, you know, because semantics, if you a nigga or God, what can you produce? You know what I'm saying? If a nigga can produce more than a God, then hey, the influence goes to the nigga and they gain more power and influence, right?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Fuck, man. Phone calls, dog.
It's all good. It's all good. See,
So you just
that's
want to
the
be a nigga?
flowery language part I was saying before.
So no, it's true. So you want to be a nigga? You just want to be a nigga,
But at what does it matter? Nigga, God,
bitch. You're a
Blackie, and
bitch.
all that stuff. At the end of the day, what can you produce?
What do
Where
you want to
can I
produce,
see your
Smooth? It's
works?
what do you want to produce? It starts with the individual, though, dog. You make it seem like you
It
know.
does start with the individual, but then it gets bigger than the individual because 5% is not just one person.
I'm not
It
talking about
started
five
from one
percent though.
person.
But I'm
Now,
not talking
I
about
was
5%.
referring to what Go Professor was saying about would you rather me call you nigga or God and stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, the work is the
That
work.
doesn't. I
The
mean,
influence is the influence.
so what if we just call you bitch? Your name is
Okay,
bitch. Go change your name to bitch. You
okay.
want to be called bitch?
So, okay, then if I change my name to bitch, then what?
Then you just bitch.
Okay. And it just dies there. So we
But
so we just go.
my
See,
nigga,
that's what
you
I'm
have a
saying,
name
man.
though,
Like it
dog.
just
Dog, you have a name
it's
though, man.
yeah, sure.
The whole you have a name though. Why would you want to
Right.
be called out your name? Is what he's asking.
Well, how do you know God ain't out your name?
Huh?
I said, how do you know calling me God wouldn't be out my name? I mean, the name thing is inconsequential at the end of the day when we're really talking about influence and power and all of that stuff. Because it's not gonna be about your name. It's gonna be about the work. You
Okay.
understand me?
Well,
About
okay, okay,
what you've been
smooth.
able to
Let me do
influence,
this.
what you've
Let
been
me
able
do
to
this.
correct, build. You know what I'm
Let
saying?
me do this since you did this to the other guy. What the
Uh-huh.
fuck are you doing then? Who the fuck are you networking with? Let's get down to brass taxes here. Who are you networking with and what are you doing since you keep asking these questions?
Who am I networking with? Well,
Yeah,
in
what
my
is
field,
Smooth doing? What is Smooth Media Vision doing in this world for influence and power?
well, I mean, what I'm doing for influence and power right now is on a real small scale because for the most part, it's really just me. However, um, I am involved in a few things, you know, when it comes to creating awareness for Black men and trying to like y'all do, like y'all say, educate them and all that stuff, but also to actually create opportunities for them. You understand me? So it's a few people that I network with, to see, what can be done, what we could do, how I can help, and all that shit, and how to expand it. You know, oh,
Okay.
go pee
So
in the building
you turning that into something that can grow then,
that
right?
can grow. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
how long is it going to take you to do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Might be a few years.
No,
Definitely.
nobody knows how long things really take to catch on, right? Unless it's really pushed.
Hmm.
You can't every group starts with the individual though, brother. You can't fucking sit up here and expect things to change overnight, right?
Hmm.
Just like all the shit that's being talked about in the manosphere and bringing bitches back, making them great again, all this shit. Look, man, I don't like that shit either, though, dog. But I understand what motherfuckers are trying to do because I live in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all these different individuals getting at different individuals, I can never go around and knock on motherfuckers' doors like Mormons and be like, hey, have you heard of the 5% today? Like I'm selling a fucking witness. You know what I'm saying? Or Jehovah's Witness, hey, have you had the supreme mathematics? You know what I'm saying? I not everybody can do that though, brother. They're gonna fucking hear from somebody else, then they're gonna wanna, if they're influenced enough to say, you know what, I want to dive into this, I want to check this out, right? Then they're gonna go to the people that they go to that have this. And that's how it gets influence.
Right.
And if it helps out individuals, you going back to the same thing I'm saying. If it's going back to individuals, and then that friend can teach somebody, that friend can teach somebody when they have seeds in their house, you know what I'm saying? They teach these people, but people in life are gonna do what they're gonna do regardless of what you teach them, right? Like people talk about common sense. Is common sense really common now? No. Was common sense common then? No. Common sense mostly gets taught, and people still jaywalk. So I mean, what are we saying? Peace,
Hey,
G.
I can't. Peace, God. Uh,
Peace,
I can't
peace.
stay long, man. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Peace.
Okay. Look, listen. I can't stay long, but I just wanted to say this. Look, man. Uh, back to
You there?
new. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I'm talking to Go P.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here. Yes, sir. Yeah. Peace, God.
He's doing the
Um,
same thing.
no. Smooth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, you can hear me, but you can't hear GP. I
I
see
can
his
hear
avatar
GP as
moving.
well.
Yeah.
You can?
He can hear me.
I hear both of
Yeah.
y'all.
I can't hear him.
Yeah. He can hear me.
It's
Smooth can
crazy.
hear me.
Yo, let me go out and come back in.
All right, all
All
right, all
right.
right.
All right.
Go ahead, Go P.
All right. Smooth. Listen, man. The reason I asked that question is because it carries a different meaning and weight to it. Meaning, um, to what New said earlier, it is not an easy thing to tell anybody that you God. Is that hit different, and when you're able to say that out loud and stand on it, uh, it carries a heavier and different meaning. It's saying that you have you're gaining or you have gained a supreme understanding of who you are and where you and what your purpose is. Now, a lot of times when you're speaking, you're speaking to what has been achieved, what has been achieved financially. Uh, and I'm saying to you, the financial aspect is a molecule compared to what the sun is doing. Okay, it is only a molecule. I mean, in this day and time, yes, we have financial conversations and we deal with financial things because that's a part of our life. But that is only a part. That is less than a quarter of what the whole pie has to offer, let's say. So when I ask you, hey, would you rather me call you God or the N word? Well, the N word uh, tends to demean you, historically speaking, especially. Yeah, do we say it? Do people say it? Yes. Do have they created different ways of saying it and put different meanings to the word? Yes, but it's still you can't go, or would you go to your own parents and tell them, "Hey, I'm God," or would you say, yeah, I'm that nigga who done stepped in the house, right?" Now they'll probably accept you saying I'm that nigga stepped in the house versus I'm God. You see, they won't question the nigga part, but they'll question the God part. You see, because that hits different. Now, when you have supreme understanding of who he was, is, and shall be, well, and you stand on that, your whole demeanor, your whole supreme understanding of self becomes greater than that nigga that just stepped in the house. You get what I'm saying?
Right. But isn't God like also a title that you know that you attain? You know, being that okay, you are supreme creator and everything, and also it doesn't have to be
Yo, GP, you
financial
there?
because we didn't
I'm
didn't
Yo, can
really
you hear Smooth?
yeah
Yeah, I
yeah
can
yeah
hear him. Yes, sir. I can
we
hear
hear
him.
you.
Yo, what's going on, man?
I can hear Smooth.
But the thing is, I mean, I wasn't
Let me
really
go out and try to
speaking
come back in.
on financial stuff. I was speaking
'Cause I
more
can't hear
in
him.
the terms of influence, you know what I'm saying? And it is great that, you know, there are 5%ers in different countries and stuff, but as your influence grows, so does your power and um uh things that you can affect. And my whole question has always been like, if the 5%ers see themselves as gods and supreme beings and supreme mathematicians, then where is the influence to confirm that?
Mic
Well,
check.
the influence is there.
Mic check.
The influence. I can hear you. I can hear you, God.
All right.
The influence has been there. It is you who is not acknowledging the influence. The influence has been there for a significant amount of time. In fact, the influence is here right now as we speak. It is you who is not acknowledging it or refusing to acknowledge it and accept it for what it is. Now, if we was up here talking about, yes, Jesus is Lord, and I'm going to church on Sunday, I go to 3 services, 0, 8, 10, and 11. I listen to the pastor. You will be more prone to accept that versus, hey, I'm God all day and I'm speaking word into the universe consistently. I'm learning these lessons and I'm going to bless the children, the elderly, and all in between with these wise words spoken. I'm going to show them that they have a purpose.
Right.
You see the difference? That's influence all day. It is you who is not wanting to accept certain things that are said or the influence that is here right now and exact. It is you. That is not us. That is a you thing.
You gotta go outside.
But I mean, again, you know,
You gotta go
it,
outside, Smooth.
that just goes to show that, you know, from everything you just said, Go P, it's like, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying with the influences here right now and you know, people that you influence to be in 5%ers and all of that stuff. But in this 3D earth that we live in, you have the influence, and then it has to be backed up by some form of works, some form of establishment, something that is built up and erected.
Then that goes back to what I originally
Hold on, let me
said.
finish, let me finish. Let me
You
finish,
are
let me
putting
finish.
financial aspect
No,
on
no,
it.
it's not the thing that, first of all, the financial part is always going to be part of it. As your
Yes,
influence
sir.
grows and your power grows, so will your finances. So it goes in tandem. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
But
sir.
again, on this planet that we live in and stuff, the way your influence and your power will be recognized is by being backed up. Is only if it is backed up by the stuff that you're able to build behind that influence. Like, say for example, when you mentioned the school of Mecca and all that stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
It will be a ton of schools around the world to be like, oh yeah, that's a 5% of building right there. Or look at this statue, that's a 5% of statue right there. Like, in this world that we live in as 3-dimensional beings and all that stuff, that is the proof to show how far your influence has gotten. If there was like a huge statue that's big like that one in Senegal with the man and the child and the woman and stuff like that, and said that's a 5% of statue right there, people will look at that and be like, wow, who are these
Okay,
5%?
so let me ask you. How many University of Texas are there?
Is one.
It's one University of Texas that's known all over the country, even outside the country, but there's only one.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that influence?
Absolutely.
How many universities of Duke are there?
There's one. But you see, the thing with Duke and
You,
the University
you
of
if you're
Texas
saying
is
there's
that
no, if you're
there are
saying there's
people who are
one,
trying to
then
enter.
no, sir. If you're saying that there is one, then why does it have to be dozens of schools of Mecca?
That was an example that I was
I gave an example too.
There's something that again, but it still links to the fact that there's something that has to be erected. You mentioned Duke, you mentioned University of Texas. There are
Yes, sir.
people, there are thousands, if not millions, of people that apply to try and get into those universities.
Okay.
And also, those universities, they have a worldwide recognition for being good in whatever fields that
But you imply that but you imply that the 5% is not worldwide.
Yeah, I was saying.
Now you're implying that.
I was pretty much saying that your influence. Where's your influence? Like your power. You
If we're known worldwide, wouldn't that be influence?
Yes, it is influence. No, that's not necessarily what we were talking about. Me and you.
Because you won't accept it.
No, that's not it. You have to listen as well.
Yes, sir.
Again,
go ahead.
Your power and your influence has to be backed up by stuff that you can erect, right? Pause. That you can build, right? Whether it is a dozen schools around the world, a dozen schools of Mecca around the world, or whether it is one school, even if it is one school, right? How many people are breaking their backs and their necks to be able to attend that school because of the worldwide recognition or influence that it has that makes people want to break their backs to go to that
Yes,
school?
sir. But to answer that question, you would have to literally do the data on that, wouldn't you?
True.
So how can you even lay out that question and answer it at the same time?
Well, you asked me about the University. I don't know the data about the University of Texas or about
Okay.
Duke, but yet I still know that
But
it's
there's only one.
a school or it's influential.
But you know there's only one, right?
I know there's only one, but I also
Okay.
know that
You're
people
making my point.
break their necks and backs to get into those schools. Whether
And
it's
how do
in
you know?
sports.
How do you know that people around the world haven't done the same when it comes to the school of Mecca? How do you know that?
Well, how do I know that Duke is so influential?
Okay.
I know as
you
much
said-
about Duke
but-
University as I would about a school of Mecca. But see, the reason why I know about Duke is because I hear it everywhere, or I see their D1 program on TV. Even though I'm not,
Okay.
I may not be interested, but it's something that is going to come in my what should I say, periphery, or
Okay.
it's something I'm going to pick up. You understand? To the
But
point
you
of,
also are
what is
familiar
this
with the 5%, right?
Huh? You said what?
But you are also familiar with the 5%, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the 5%.
All right then. I'm trying to
I'm
understand where your point
No,
is.
but hold on.
Because you're making my
I'm saying
point.
I'm familiar with the 5%. The reason why I'm familiar with the 5% is because during college I was heavily into black groups in the 60s.
Okay.
And,
When were you in
Black
college?
Panthers, and I was a Nuwapi. I was a Hotep
When-
as well. So if you are
When were
in
you
that,
in college?
hold on. When you're in that world, there is no
Yes,
way
sir.
you're not going to hear about these other groups that are also black.
When were you in college?
or black.
That's interesting that you said that just now.
Hold on. When were you in college?
When?
Yes,
Or
sir.
where? I was in college from 2006 to 2010.
So 2006 is 10 years ago, right?
20.
20 years. I'm sorry. 20 years ago,
Mhm.
right? So if 2006 was 20 years ago, right? You was familiar with the 5% 20 years ago. And the 5% has been around way before that. But you came into the knowledge of who they are, who we are in 2006. My point is, you've been familiar with this for a significant amount of time. That's an influence to the point where we're in 2026 talking about it right now.
So because y'all been around, because I knew about them 2006, that means that you had influence.
That
You know
means
what
there
I'm saying?
is an influence there, and that means that when you have that influence present, whether you accept it or not, because I've said this is you, you are the one who is accepting parts or none or all of what the 5% is saying. That is you.
Okay. Yeah, but just because I know about your group, given that I was interested in black groups and stuff, and
Yes,
the
sir.
5%ers was one of them, because I heard about, NOI and then offshoot Clarence 13X and all that stuff. That was stuff that I was um interested in as a
Yes, sir.
black person, right? And also, hey, to even add on to that, I studied in England. I was in London, so I was overseas and stuff, right? But
Okay.
I can't go to the average person in London now and be like, and say some 5% stuff and they'll know what I'm talking about. Or I'll be like, you know what the 5% is? Because they'll be like, nah, never heard of them. What's that?
hmm hmm
You
Because you
know?
don't have supreme understanding. I bet you I can go over there. I bet you New Law can go over there and say, "Hey, what's happening, peace, God?" And there will be somebody who will acknowledge that because somebody who studied or has heard something that is familiar with or some type of influence in regards to the 5%. Look, Rakim Allah been out for the longest time.
Yeah,
You don't think they've heard of Rakim Allah?
I'm sure. I'm sure they've heard of Wu-Tang Clan as
So,
well.
so once again, if you had supreme understanding of how to use the language, then you wouldn't say, I can go over there in England and nobody would know. No, they would know if you know how to use the language.
Well, God, it's just like I said before. There are people in Japan. There are people in Venezuela. There are people in Canada. There are people in Argentina, Philippines. There's guys over there, what I'm saying, doing what they do. But that's an influence,
Yes, sir.
because they're made aware, right? But just because people don't choose to go that way, it's hard for people to go that way. You know what I'm
Right, right,
saying? It's
right,
hard for people to say that, you know, I don't believe in your God, or I don't believe in God. Number one, it's already hard for people to say that,
right,
without being saying, saying that, well, I'm 5%. That's why I don't believe in that. No, there are atheists out there who don't believe in God, and it's hard for them to say that.
right. And
You
and
know, you
and
know what I'm
hey
saying?
God,
So,
hey God, I also went back to your point that it is hard for a person to say that they're God themselves.
well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
you said that.
yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So smooth. Like when you talk about the influence is there, right? But
It's
people
not
still
even that
have a
I even
choice.
ignored the fact that y'all don't have some influence because again, Wu-Tang Clan exists. We heard it all up and down the albums and all that stuff, right? But again, if we go to the original point that I was making in that last video, the flowery language video, again, is that where to what means is all of this? You understand me? Like when are we going to where is how is it going to grow or what y'all gonna do? Is it just going to be okay? Yeah, I see you as a god and the numbers and all of that stuff, and it just ends there, or isn't it supposed to grow
It
past
ends
that?
where you
Because
take
you
it,
said you gotta
smooth.
Look,
walk before you walk. So when does
I
the
don't understand,
walk
bro.
start?
knowledge
You
is
smarter
infinite,
than this,
man.
smooth. Smooth, you smarter
Knowledge
than
is
this, though, dog.
infinite. Knowledge
No,
is
hold
infinite.
on,
Where
God.
does knowledge end? Where does
Smooth,
knowledge end?
smooth. You
Where
smarter
does
than that,
learning
man.
end? Go ahead, Nu. Go ahead. Go ahead, God. What you say?
Smooth. You smarter than that. You keep saying the same thing, and you not catching what you saying.
Right.
Right? It doesn't end. It's up to the individual to take whatever they learn, to take that wherever they go
Right.
and
When do you
influence.
stop
Other
learning?
people.
You asking me or you asking me?
What
When do you start
power?
learning?
What power are you talking about?
Right, right.
Because what I hear when you keep saying power and
Mhm.
influence and this, and that, and third, you're going into money and politics.
As an example, yeah. Because again, the last Alive where it was us three in there and stuff, that's specifically what I was talking about. I was like, when are we going to see the one politician that's going to make
But
laws?
that's not
Why does it
even
have to
though
be a politician? And that is not the point of 5%. They're not politicians, dog.
that's not our position, man. Even though we've influenced politicians. If we didn't influence politicians, then we would not be on the FBI list.
Well, that's something I didn't know. I didn't know y'all influence politicians.
No, you
I
you
told
you
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 that
knew
two
it. You
times.
knew
Who?
it. You just
No,
didn't want
because
to
I would have
accept it.
wanted to know who.
You just didn't want to accept it.
No, I would have wanted to know who. If y'all
Well,
say what,
well, there's many politicians. There's many politicians from local to state to federal. There's politicians. We can't tell you, this politician and that politician. That's just like in Christianity. There's a lot of Christians and there are a lot of people who are Christian politicians. Now you might be able to point to one who's well known, but there are those who are local or state or federal that you don't know. Many more that you don't know than you do know. So we're trying to get to where your point is. I'm just saying, Smooth. Sometimes when you're speaking on these things, man, I think because you said listening is imperative, I'm the one who usually say that, but you said I should be listening. Well, I've been listening to you, and here I came up to apply correction to what you've been saying.
correction?
Correction, yes, sir. Correction.
Well, guess we're gonna see like how it since it's only been 62 years and it's I
You're
guess
you're
we
you're
see.
expecting political stuff, and that's
Right.
not
I'm not
what the
only
5% is
the
about.
reason why
I can
political,
hear it in your
again,
voice,
going
Smooth.
back to the last stream, the reason why political is because those are the motherfuckers that make the laws. You understand me?
So
And
what?
they pretty much put in the laws on how everyone is going to live in their terrain or in their
And they're
territory, in their
corrupt as
country, in
well,
their state.
right? And they're corrupt, right?
And again, and what I said before, there's nothing that is not corrupt in this world. You
Right.
understand me?
But
And you
but
have to
why?
But I
But
find
why?
told you
way
in
to
the chat
bypass.
there's things. No, I told you there's things that are not corrupt in the chat because you asked that question. What is not corrupt? And I said one of the things I said are the children that haven't been exposed to the madness. What is the purpose of the 5% to teach the young, the elderly, and all in between? To teach the children
All
before
right,
they
so if
be
I was a
exposed
corrupt
to the.
politician, for example, and said, okay, we're going to have to snuff the 5%ers out, what are the pure children going to do about
Now you're going into what ifs. That don't work like that. It don't work like that. What ifs? If this, you
it? No,
can't stop the math.
because
The
since you
math
say
was,
this
is,
it's
and
a
shall
corrupt
be.
world, how are you going to bypass, circumvent, or how are you going to stand up against that level of corruption? Like, how are
Well,
you going to make your mark or your stamp in this world other than, oh, there's 5% is here and there and there and there and there? And that's why I
okay,
gave the what if. Okay, so what if I, I'm a corrupt politician and I
okay.
no longer want any spiritual groups or whatever? If you claim to be part of some spiritual group and stuff, you get snuffed out.
Well, the first thing I'm gonna tell
What
you
would
is
you
I'm not a spiritual group. I'm not in a spiritual group.
or
You know,
whatever
I'm
you
gonna
want
tell
to
you
call
that.
it, or whatever you want to call it. If there are any groups so that are fringe groups and stuff, if they claim this or claim that, you snuff them out. Like, what would you
Uh-huh.
do
Smooth.
against that?
They exist now,
Already. What are you talking
bro.
about?
Bro. if the 5% on the FBI watch list since the fucking 60s, dog, why are there still 5% around?
Yeah, we're still here talking to you right now at 1:18 p.m., sir. What you talking about?
That'll be 1318 to all you other guys.
Yeah, 13:18. Yeah, to the to duty, veterans and active duty. Yeah, 13:18. But we right here now, smooth. What you talking about?
Yes, a lot of groups that are still here now that were
No, but you ask frivolous questions,
frivolous.
meaningless questions. When you, like the God said, you're smarter than that. I don't know why we've listened to you talk, man, and you. I don't know. You trolling us, man? Are you trolling us?
I mean, me and Nu were having a conversation, and he was referring to the flowery language stream. So,
Which
Well,
we were, all three of
because
us
that's
were
what you
there.
said. Well, because that's what you said, but I wasn't talking about in this case. I said I was bringing up the point of what you made as far as, you know, people or black people who complain, right, about certain things like what are black people doing, what are black people going, and then who are you working with and what are you doing? And that was the gist of the conversation of last time anyway.
mhm.
The flowery language came up, yes, because we were speaking our language, right? Because every group, every culture has a certain language that they speak, right? But when it came to doing certain things and being, what you are in this world, that's up to the individual. That's what I was talking about.
So
And
what
that
more? Oh, go ahead.
that conversation last time, uh, we was all three of us was on this type time. So we was there.
Right.
Smooth.
So, what mark are the 5%ers to leave on this world, or do y'all think that has already been established?
That has already been established, sir.
Okay. Okay.
The math was, is, and shall be.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I guess there's nothing more to say then.
I think smooth. I think you trolling us, man.
I'm not. I'm not. I just think
You ain't trolling. Come on, smooth. Come on, smooth.
think
I
it's
think,
interesting.
come on, come on, smooth, man. You trolling us, man.
That's why I said Smooth, you smarter than that, bro. Because you saying the same shit. And I said,
Right.
well, what is Smooth doing? Well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Well, aren't we're trying to do the same thing? I mean, it takes
Yeah.
I mean, hey bro, honestly, 6 years is not a long time.
It's not a long time, man.
It's
Hey,
not a
look,
long time, dog.
in the 9 laws of self-governance, law number 9, plant these seeds and be patient. Smooth, you said you got a little few things going. You planted some seeds. Now you got to be patient and wait for it to do what?
Sprout.
That takes time, don't it? Maybe it might take 62 years.
So, don't you think maybe um, it may be time to for it to, I don't know, should I say sprout faster, or in other words, what I'm
So,
trying to say, Go P, is that maybe it's time to pluck out all the ones that are not really progressing this movement that is 5%, because
well, then you have to have the supreme understanding of who's doing what, when, and how, and
I just
where.
told you. I told you earlier, Smooth. They disqualify or qualify themselves.
Mhm.
That's what people do in the world. right? I can sit here and be like, yo, I don't judge nobody for this and that. Hey, I don't have to judge you. You're gonna make that judgment for me, no matter my
Right,
presumptions or assumptions. You're
right.
gonna make that for me.
Either you're gonna stand in or you're not. There's no
Hey,
middle.
smooth. How old are you?
40.
40.
Mhm.
How long did it take you to get where you're at as far as your perception and understanding of the world and where you at right now?
40 years.
40 years. That's not a long time, dog.
Yeah, you young, man.
Look, I just turned 51. Even though I had a lot of understanding, right? At a younger age, I still had to go through trials and tribulations to even
Right,
get where I'm
right.
at now. This conversation right now, bro, is still a learning. You know what I'm saying? To a certain
Yes, sir.
degree, where I'm not trying to talk you out of something, but it's like, yo, you do understand you're saying the same thing and then you asking the same question and then you giving the answer. You're giving the answer. You're actually giving the answer and you not
Right.
catching yourself giving you the answer.
Hey, God, what do I say all the time? Listening is imperative.
Sure
Say it all
is.
the time.
It sure is.
You
Well,
gotta listen to
Because
yourself
to
sometimes.
because like to even like ask the questions of what you're doing, right? You're doing you're doing the influential thing by broadcasting, right?
mhm.
Where we don't really have, quote unquote pulpits or soapboxes. Like there's still 5%, man, when you go, or anybody. I'm not and see, I'm trying to get away from the 5% thing, but because I'm just talking about a group of people, right? Individuals, right?
Mhm.
People gonna spread a word however they spread a word. Like right now, the internet is big. I can't say I can see that. Like, look, whether I'm into Christianity or not, or care about people being into that, they're doing work as well, right? Hebrew Israelites, no matter whether you like them or not, they're doing work as well. They're out there in the streets. People are in certain places where they're trying to spread certain things. So I mean, that in itself is an influence and being recognized, whether somebody chooses to go that way or not. And you're doing the same thing because you have a mic and you can hit the live button.
Yeah. I mean, the Hebrew Israelites have been doing that before you could hit the lock button.
For how many years?
I don't even know.
I
I
thought you
don't,
said for. I thought you said so many years. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, he said live button.
Oh, okay.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, not. I don't like comparing stuff, but like compared to the Hebrew Israelites, where would the 5% say they stand compared to them when it comes to the outreach and the influence and all that stuff?
Well, I would say if you're asking me, I would say the Hebrew Israelites are still coming from a Bible aspect, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's the difference. We don't come from that
That's gonna be
aspect.
more influential.
Yeah.
You start comparing you start comparing Bible things and so called, a triple O being, compared to not that, you're always gonna have more influence over that.
And we know that here in so-called America, that it is more so Christian based than anything. So when you coming from that aspect, then you're gonna have the ear of those who typically are Christian, more Christian than anything.
But 5% comes from like a Muslim base, right?
5% aren't Muslim. No,
No,
sir.
but like you come from like what the Quran. 'Cause if Hebrew
No,
We
Israelites are
learn from
like
books like anybody else. We read, but we're not Muslims.
Yeah, and the Hebrew Israelites are not Christians, but they still come from a Bible aspect. So you come from a quote
Well, hold on. What do the Hebrew Israelites profess?
that everybody in the Bible was black,
Okay.
and
And
that their original,
what is the Bible?
the holy book.
Okay. From what aspect? Whose aspect? A
Is
Christian's aspect, right?
yeah.
Well, there you go.
Because
So
Hebrew Israelites
five
believe in
percenters don't come
Jesus,
from
right?
a Muslim. So what's with the Allah and all of that stuff?
Myself, Lord and Master. Indeed.
Yeah, that's different.
That's different.
Yeah.
we don't come from we don't come from that. Now, do we
We
read
don't
and
we don't talk about holy either. Holy is not
right?
even in our language.
We're built mathematically, right? Either the math is right and exact, or it is not right and exact. There's no middle about that.
See, and there's difference in when you keep saying a mathematician. That has to do with and, what's the word I'm looking for? Arithmetic. Like there's just certain things that we don't we certain words we don't use because we're not religious. So we don't
Right.
yeah, fasting is not a religion, right? Praying is a religion.
Yeah,
So like the followers of Jesus, right? If you believe in Jesus, it's Christianity.
Hey God.
Yo,
Uh, I don't believe in Jesus. I know Jesus. He's a close
Jesus on the
uh
phone.
he's a close good friend of the show. Jesus
Jesus
is
on
a
your
good
show,
friend.
Smooth.
He's on the phone.
You see the picture?
Yeah, Jesus is a good friend of the show, bro. Yes,
No, but
sir.
in all seriousness, Smooth, like um I used to do that shit, right? Like when I was in my pro black days and um what are these people doing for this people? And when you start to see that, yo, man, they're not trying to do anything, for the people themselves. Like the individual has to do that for himself. And you just start to see that, yo, man, their power is not really what you think it is, man. Cause that shit's gonna implode, right? So, you may not be saying that, well, I'm not talking about political stuff, but really when people talk about power here in America, it goes to political, right?
Right, right.
But when you talk about like say how you spiritual or you trying to go on the right path, like when you change your diet, right? That's power. You know what I'm saying? If you change your diet, you stop drinking, you stop doing all sorts of things that get you in trouble, right? That's power. I mean, you can know about it, but it means nothing if you're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, when you stop smoking crack,
I just stopped smoking crack 3 days ago.
hey, just stop smoking crack.
Fucking Zone's in the chat. Where's Zone been?
yeah. It's been 6 years since COVID. I don't know what he's referring
I
to.
don't know what that means either.
So y'all saying that the works of the 5 percenters are yet to be manifested, but the seeds are
Nope.
planted.
Nope. That's not what I said.
Oh,
I said
go.
it's already been like the works of the 5% has already been manifested because people are 5%. The
Yep,
work is
and we're
already
here,
there. The work is
and we're
already
here.
you know when
Yes,
the
sir.
future is, right? You know when the future is, Smooth, right?
Do I know what the what is?
Do you know when the future is?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, every
Now.
time we say something, it's the future.
It's
It's
now. The future is
now,
now,
off
right?
top.
So because you're not seeing it in the way that you want to see it doesn't mean that it's not working for anybody. Like I said, it's still an individual thing at the end of the day.
Right. Hey,
Mm.
Smooth. I put a lot of knowledge in the chat, man. You know, I was building in the chat, and then I came up here to build with. I mean, me and the God are dropping jewels to you, man. That you can build with, man.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. I see. Yeah, I'm a definitely delve deeper into the whole 5% thing, and you know, yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't know about it, and yeah, delve deep and see what's there. You know.
So when we apply correction to what you're talking about, just know we do it in good faith, bro. That's all
I know.
we do it. We
No,
do it genuinely. You know, we ain't trolling you like you've been trolling us.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I would definitely like to see, um, see y'all grow and flourish, and so it's like the 5% nation is a force to be reckoned with. I
uh,
wish that for all
But
of y'all.
but who? Wait, but hold on.
You know,
When you say that, who's to say that it's not growing?
yeah.
I guess grow further and flourish further. In the
But in whose
sense,
eyes?
yeah,
In what way is what I'm
in
asking.
in everybody's eyes, to the
See,
point
Smooth,
where
you still
the
85
average
and brother.
person cannot deny it.
You still
But
85 and
but they're gonna deny it. People
yeah,
are always gonna deny something that they don't know.
yeah. Like
Well,
you've
I
been
don't see it
denying
doing this. I
Smooth.
don't see it doing that. I don't see it do. If a brother's out there trying to be positive, man, and live life, bro, that's working.
Yeah,
That's
Smooth. You've
that's
been doing
that's
it,
in your
Smooth.
face, dog. That's in your fucking face, man. What? I don't get it.
Smooth. You've been doing it since we've been on this talking on this subject. You've been denying it.
Well, I don't know much about it.
Well, then how can then why
Oh,
deny it then?
okay.
Why
See,
deny
I
it
mean,
see,
then?
you don't know much about it. You
But
know
you
what that
talk
reminds
like
me
you
of?
do.
Hold on, God. You know what that reminds me of? When I used to talk to non-union cats, right?
Uh-huh.
Electricians.
Yes, sir.
Well, I heard the union this. I heard the union that. I heard you. Take your ass to the hall, get some information, and then you can learn about the
Right.
union,
Right.
right?
Right.
You keep making assumptions about what you heard and people's other bad people's bad experiences, whatever, because they weren't who they said they were in the first place to even join a
Right.
union and learn about the brotherhood. That's
Right.
why I keep saying I'm not trying to dwell on the 5%. I'm trying to keep it at just a level of a personal individual level,
Hey God,
right?
you know what they say about, you know, Masons, right? They say, oh yeah, them Masons, they this, they that, they have all this and that, right? But they're not Masons.
Right.
you know, they're not Masons though. They want to tell you all about it, right? yeah,
but you see,
same
would you
thing.
say that 5%ers have that same kind of notoriety like the Masons do? Because even though most people just say what they think the Masons are, most people know or have at least heard about the Masons. Would you say it's the same thing for 5%ers?
And they heard us
Yes,
5% too.
I would, bro. How many
Yes,
5%? You know how many 5%ers are actually Masons,
they started out as Masons, and then they found the knowledge. Yeah,
bro?
and you know what a Mason is? A Mason is a Muslim son. you
Right, and they moved on.
know what I'm saying?
Because look, there's a Prince Hall out here in Vegas. they call it Prince Hall, right?
Yes, sir.
Prince Hall, what Hall, right?
Prince Hall.
Yeah, there's one out here. There was one in Albuquerque, and when I went to the one out here, there was like 4 or 5%. When I went to Albuquerque, they all man, look, they had the whole hall. It was all Prince Hall, right? And my homeboy Mark, he's a Mason. You know what I'm saying? And he wanted me to come in, but then he said they gonna ask you if you believe in God, and you're gonna have to say yes. Now, I don't believe in God, so I never went in and tried to do what they wanted me to do because I couldn't lie to myself just to get in. Now, they have good ties. You know, it's like joining a frat, right? They got good ties. You know, I could sport the Masonic symbol and all that type of stuff.
Right,
But
right,
to me, I would have had lied to have to even do that. And those are ties that I don't want.
right, right. I mean, hey, man, people choose their path, right? When they're seeking something, and when they're seeking uh, the knowledge of where you was, is, and shall be, uh, you take on paths. You walk down paths. Everybody's path is not going to be the same. Okay. Sometimes you might have to go to prison for a significant amount of time to get yourself together. Sometimes you may have to just uh, be in church until you're able to say, "Mom, I ain't going to church no more. I'm going a different path." Okay. I mean, everybody has their walk. It is
And
what you do in your walk and with your walk.
truth be told, God, a lot of 5% came from the Christian world.
Right,
You
right,
know, so
right,
when you start asking questions, man, you figure out, yo, man, yo, this is not for me. You
right,
know, if you lying to yourself, of course you're gonna be somewhere you don't want to be, just to be in, in group,
yeah, right.
thinking you might get exiled or something like that. But then, that's your life that you gotta live with yourself.
Hey, God, when Rakim Allah came out, um, I was still searching, and I think I was about 17, right? And Rakim came, and I was so wowed by. I didn't quite understand what he was saying, but he was saying something, right? And then when I got into the military, here comes Majestic Allah, my enlightener, and then I was able to put it together. Those seeds that were planted when I first started listening to Rakim Allah, right? Those seeds were planted, and then Majestic Allah came and added more light to the situation. He watered the yard, and next thing you know, I'm growing. And because when I went in the military, it was all, do you want to go to church? Yes, I'll go to Protestant or Methodist. They give you these options, but they didn't offer you anything of Islam or anything like that. So when I kept pushing, uh, and I was exposed to masonry, then went into that. Now, before I went into all that, what as a child, what I was at in church, Baptist church, Catholic church, all that. Now, how is it that now I'm telling you, hey, indeed I am all in all. I'm God all day. There are none greater than I. Indeed, I am the universe, and the universe is I. How am I able to tell not only you that, but my father and mother that and stand on it? And they had
Yeah.
to accept it. Okay. So, you know, the paths have been walked, right? And I found that I am not of any religion. Off top, I am of no religion. God is of no religion, man. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's and a lot of people can't accept that. They struggle to accept that because they're in the program. They steadily 85ing all day.
You're of no religion, but you're
I, I
5%.
have I have no religion. No, sir. I have no religion.
I don't even have a foundation in religion.
Nope.
I was never baptized in anything. My father was a Christian, And before that, of course, he was living what he was living until he, quote unquote, went to prison and all that and found God and Jesus and all that. But he never tried to put all that stuff on me. So I have really no foundation in any religion.
Yeah, I had that. You know, as childhood, a lot of people are exposed as children to, put your little suit and tie on. They want to show you little cute boy going to church and listen to the word of God and all like that, right? You know, and what we was doing, fall asleep in church and then eating all foul afterwards, going home, eat that pork chop you be talking about, Jesus.
So do you guys like meet like once a year or something? Is there like some annual kind of
I don't eat that, so I'm vegan 30 years, brother. So I don't know about none of that.
Did
No,
you
I'm
say
saying
meat
like,
or
is
eat?
there like a meeting? Like, do y'all
Yeah,
meet like a conference or
yeah,
something like a
Oh,
conference?
yeah,
okay. I thought you
yeah. They
said eat
call it
meat.
they
Yeah,
call it the parliament.
yeah, Parliament.
They
Hey,
call
they
it the
got that the
parliament.
31st. They got that the
Yeah,
31st of May.
yeah.
In
The
NY.
show the show improve the
Yeah.
parliament. All
Uh-huh.
their get-togethers and all that stuff.
Yeah. They're having that the 31st of May. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna
Hey,
find
hey,
out
God. Hey,
about it.
God. Remember, I did my pilgrimage. Remember last year when I
Yeah,
went from San Diego, I rode all the way to the Mecca. Yeah,
yeah.
on a bike. I did my pilgrimage.
Will Mecca be in New York?
School of Mecca, yes, sir.
There's a school of Mecca in Harlem. There's a school, I think, in what, Queens or Brooklyn.
I went to
Um,
the Heart,
you went to the one in Harlem. Yeah,
Harlem,
that's the original.
Harlem,
That's the original one.
the original. Yes, sir.
Yeah, there's one in what is that? C Mecca? No, D Mecca, right? Detroit. But as far as like Chicago and all other places, like I know Wise Prince, he in Seattle, but I don't think there's a
Uh-huh.
school out there. But he's teaching out there, you know.
Yes,
And
sir.
this is what I was saying too. Like, a lot of these people, man, these individuals are something in life.
Right,
Teachers,
right.
math teachers, engineers, you know.
Mm.
Like us,
Yeah,
man, like us. I mean, you got the God on. He's a full out electrician who deals with power literally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, that's literally.
I'm a wireman.
You know what I
I'm a
mean?
wireman.
I deal with your health and well being, your body mechanics, the self, all
Shoot,
day.
man, remember Fahim Divine? He be around here. He he what does he do? Healthcare. He in healthcare.
Yeah. I mean, we are productive. We are productive, man. Uh,
Nice. Well, I'm gonna shut it down. I'm glad that you guys came in, pause, and enlighten me even
Hold on.
further.
Hey, guy, you coming through on Friday? That's the day I got available. You coming over?
okay. Yeah, I come through on Friday after my event I got to go to.
Okay, cause you still in Vegas, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I won't be
Okay.
out until probably Sunday.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cause
Yes,
Friday,
sir.
that's when I get off at 6:30.
Go P, you from California?
I'm out of Cali. Yes, sir.
Are you like from there, born and raised, or like you moved there?
No, I was born in St. Louis, but being my family was military, um,
Oh,
we
okay.
was in Cali the vast majority of the time.
Okay.
Yes,
Nice.
sir.
Nice.
But yeah, hey God, yeah, I'll be coming through. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it
So
was
hey,
nice with
Smooth.
y'all brothers, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
man,
it.
all
Yeah,
day
good
smooth. Hey,
build.
man, you can call, man. You got the number, dog. So,
That's
Good
true.
you
That's
build.
know.
I mean, good build. We
good build.
good
You
build.
know, good
You hear
build.
how I say that, Smooth, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
hear
yeah.
that's some 5% conversation or wording right there.
As a matter of fact, that's where it came from. When people say, "Oh, we building," that's 5% language.
That's
That's
5% all
government,
day.
bro. That's where it comes from. God, when you hear God body, well, that's not our
Yeah,
language.
what's happening?
That's
What's
other.
happening? We
That
build it.
was
You know what I'm
that
saying?
was non
Build.
5% calling God body. But anyways, I know you got to shut it down,
Yeah,
Smooth,
yeah. We don't refer to
because
each
I'll
other as
start
God
going
body.
again.
We don't do
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
God
yeah,
body.
yeah. We gonna have some more builds. We definitely gonna have some more. I know this ain't the last time. I knew that the last time we spoke. So yeah, we'll have some more builds. You
Hey,
know,
hey, Smooth. You gotta moderate me, man. You gotta put me as a moderator.
I should. I should. Actually, I actually thought I did, but it's true. You don't have a wrench. I'm a
Hey, you
definitely.
gotta mod me. You gotta mod me up, man, so I
Will.
can, I can help keep things in order. That's what we do. That's
Absolutely.
that's what the God and I do. Keep
Absolutely.
order around this camp. You
Mod you up right
know what I'm
now.
saying? Hey, God, how many times have we said every time we land on somebody panel, we kind of not kind of we take over this.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a
we,
takeover,
we
but
not
it's not done
it's
on
not negative.
purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
It's not like that.
Mm. Made you moderator, go Pete.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, hey, I'm here to do the work, brother. Uh,
And Smooth,
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's very
hey,
good.
but Smooth, I always told you, man, I like when you get on the mic, man. You know what I'm saying? I like when you get on the mic because you'll go through your thoughts, right? No matter how it's perceived by somebody else, right? You always go through your thoughts, man, and you just start talking, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? And you just put your stuff out there. I always told you that.
Yeah, yeah, man. Knowledge is infinite. Go Pete just said. Yeah.
hey, look, man.
Hey,
I mean, we worked
turn
through
eight
it.
into infinity.
Yeah,
What I say?
we
Turn eight to infinity. Figure that
ate
one out.
into infinity.
Figure that one out,
Hey,
Smooth.
Smooth.
Yo.
We worked through it. We listened to you because listening is imperative. We listen to you, and then we go to building. We go to building, applying correction, and
Mhm.
that's not in a negative way, you
No,
know.
no, no, not. But I
But
actually I do like the fact that it's more God bodies out there that are doing productive stuff and all
yeah,
that
we
stuff.
don't use God body though. Let me
Oh,
explain. I know you got to go, but
go
we
ahead.
don't use God body because okay. So listen, if I'm gonna give you the analogy.
Hmm.
If you have a car with no engine in it, then it's just a car or a frame. It has
Hmm.
nothing in it,
Hmm.
right? That's God bodies. That's God's body. But when you put the engine in it, then that's God all day.
Hmm.
That's a car. It'll run. It'll go. That's why we don't use God body. Okay.
That came from Christians in prison.
I
When the five
see.
percent were in
the,
there, they were saying,
the
"Yeah, we
body
see
of
God as
God.
God body." Yeah,
The body of God.
but we ourselves, we don't call ourselves that. Well, I'll
Yeah.
look at you funny.
Yeah. We don't look at you sideways, man. Like, man, God body. What? So
Who are you?
you're empty. You're empty. You shell. You're a
Hey, hey, Smooth. I would be like Big Pun. Your name is who? And I know you
you
from
who?
where?
I
All right,
see.
big
So
dog,
is
man.
that
Holla at
something
your
that
boy,
was
man.
corrected over time, or are they still 5% they use the term
No,
God body?
no. 5%ers will never use that.
Well,
But
Okay.
when
there are
you
those
hear,
out there who are seeking, who will refer to themselves as it. Like you'll hear rappers who will say God body, right? But they
Yeah.
don't. They don't. That's those who haven't really gained the supreme understanding of why we don't say that,
if they
right?
claim to be
If they
5%,
claim, right? You know,
Mm,
God body means you're just a shell. You know,
sure. See, I didn't even know
so
that either. So,
yeah, that's why
good to know. Good to know.
that's why we say God Allah. Like we're the only ones who
indeed,
have that in our name. You see the
indeed,
other cats, they got X or Shabazz or
Hmm.
because it's a tribal thing. But we are God Allah for mind and body.
indeed, indeed. Like you hear me say New Allah, right? You hear me
Hmm.
say New Allah all day. You know, I mean that's how we move. Like I would be born to find Ajax Allah, right? So it's just how we move, man. We don't, go into all that other stuff, man. You know, and we do that humbly. We ain't it's not like we're not humble with how we say it, man, but we say what it is, and we stand on it. You know, that's what it is, man.
Nice.
The
I
square.
appreciate
Hey.
y'all, fellas.
Yeah, man. Holla, man.
Thanks a lot.
All right, man.
All right.
man.
To the next time, man. To the
Till
next time.
time.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.